In episode 2, we covered how much gold India has as a country, and it comes to around 800 plus tons. And we had told you about other countries. For example, the United States has 8,000 or over 8,000 metric tons. So all this stuff is very good, but does India have all its 800 metric tons of gold in its physical possession in India? That's what we're going to find out today. If it is not in India, where is it? How much of it is outside? How much of it is in India? And how did gold of India end up outside of India? All this and more in today's Hangout. And please like this video. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel and click on the bell notifications and choose all. If you just don't click on the bell notifications, then you will not get the notifications. So just wanted to put it out there so you know what you need to do. So subscribe and then bell notifications, click all. That's all you need to do. Now let's take a quick look at this very small slide deck that I'm going to share about India's gold. Did India learn a lesson from Venezuela's gold scam? I told you about Venezuela's gold scam in episode 3. You probably saw it. If you have not, please do go and see that. That gives you an idea of what happened to the gold of Venezuela, which is actually stuck in courts in UK. But India should have wisened up, because there's also one other thing about what happened to Russia. I'll come to that in just a moment. Things are not as easy or as good as they used to be. For the longest time, India had let the gold stay in United Kingdom because it felt it was too expensive to transport it over to India. But now the gold price has reached $2,950 per ounce, and that's a very big number. So India has been bringing it back. I know I'll give you all the details of how much has been brought back and how much remains in other countries. So the position. As of November 2024, India has 876 tons after adding 8 tons during the month. Remember, this ton could be metric ton or it could be British ton. The difference between the two is about 10%. Metric ton is 10% more, just for those who are curious. Of the total, 510.5 tons are stored domestically. The remaining 344.23 tons remain overseas in the Bank of England and in the Bank of International Settlements. Now, of these 344, 324 are in safe custody with the Bank of England and the Bank of International Settlements, and an additional 20.26 are held as gold deposits. Now, in October 2024, the Reserve Bank of India brought back 102 tons of gold from the Bank of England and BIS. This actually, I'm hearing that when a plane that carried this came back to India, or planes maybe, there were Rafale fighter jets also accompanying the planes to make sure that there is no hanky-panky. Who knows, right? Somalis, they come to know of it, they can do anything. So this repatriation coincided with the 𝗤𝗏𝗃 festival that was traditionally associated with buying gold. In May 2024, 100 tons were repatriated in what was one of the largest gold relocation since 1990s. Since September 2022, India has repatriated a total of 214 tons from the Bank of England and BIS. Now, why was gold stored abroad? Well, it was, first of all, safer. Bank of England vaults are much safer than probably India, and India will have to spend a fair amount of money to keep it secure from bad prying eyes. Now, don't tell the location. You get the idea. But why was India forced to put its gold in Bank of England? In 1991, during India's foreign exchange crisis, gold was pledged to secure loans from the international banks. At that time, India faced a severe economic crisis with foreign exchange reserves of just $1 billion, which would have been just enough for 3 weeks of imports. This, I think, happened in the Narasimha Rao government. It was just around the time when Chandrasekhar government exited and Narasimha Rao government took office. And to secure emergency loans, RBI pledged gold as collateral to raise funds from several international financial institutions, including Bank of England, Bank of Japan, and some Swiss banks. As part of this arrangement, gold was shipped to these institutions to secure approximately $400 million in loans. Most likely, the price of gold at that time would have been around this amount. However, after India repaid the loans by November 1991, within few months, the gold stored in the Bank of Japan was returned to India, but not the gold in Bank of England, and I think Swiss banks somewhere later it got returned back. Right now, the India's overseas gold reserves are primarily stored in Bank of England and in Bank of International Settlements. Holding gold in London allows easier trade and faster asset swaps due to its liquid and transparent market. Holding gold domestically has a benefit. What are the benefits? It enhances security by reducing reliance on foreign jurisdictions, ensuring that national wealth remains within the geographical perimeters of the country. It also enables RBI to leverage reserves for currency swaps, supporting the rupee or during financial crises. Gold acts as a reliable asset. See, I can tell you one thing. Everybody is moving away from fiat currency to an asset-based currency, and that first asset that is being considered is gold. There may be some other assets that might get added later, but right now it is gold all the way. The gold can help stabilize local gold prices, serve as a safeguard during financial crisis and counter inflation and currency devaluation. How would it help stabilize local gold prices? Well, you could have the RBI release some gold bars into the market if in case gold is shooting beyond control. That's one way. Now, why bring the gold back now? Well, that is the big question that everybody was asking. It was actually not cheap now either. So one is that what happened to Russia was that Russia's $300 billion reserves of the central bank were frozen by the West, primarily United States, saying that this is the dividends that was coming towards Russia, and we are going to use those dividends to pay Ukraine or recoup some of the losses in Ukraine. So this meant that not only was the Central Bank of Russia taken off of the SWIFT currency system, it also meant that the dividends were being frozen. So people started getting nervous. If the United States or UK or whichever country arbitrarily decides to hold your gold, which is what also happened in the case of Venezuela, right? We told you that in Venezuela's case, they are still fighting a case in the court where they are trying to get back their gold. And the Bank of England is refusing because the UK government is telling them don't send it. So these things are not right. You don't link one with the other. Unfortunately, politics have become dirty and changed. This is the new reality. Why are there challenges in repatriation? Remember one thing I told you in the Venezuela gold episode, that is part 3, about how gold was leased out by Bank of England to smaller banks. That whole thing, I played it out for you. So when the gold gets leased out to a smaller bank, the gold never comes back. So that lends one to believe that perhaps Bank of England doesn't have all the gold that it was storing for the other countries. So who is going to be left holding the bag? Hence the rush by all central banks to take out their gold deposits from the Bank of England. This is my conjecture, but I think that's what everybody is coming around to. Now, the other challenge is that some countries specifically ask for a particular type of gold. For example, the gold bars are 400 ounces in Bank of England, I'm told, whereas in United States, they prefer them in 100 ounces. So what happens? Then somebody has to take the 400 ounce gold and convert it into 400 ounce gold. What about the wastage? There will be some wastage. You are melting and rebarring them. So things like that, right? So there are some logistical difficulties. Also, these are not exactly the same weight. So what happens is the weight could be like 350 ounces to 450 ounces instead of just the exact 400. Then what happens is people say, okay, I want so many ounces. Then you need to mix and match. One 350 and two 450. You get the idea, right? So these are all the things that is taking time, it is believed, for Bank of England to honor requests. People are saying that it's taking about 6 months for Bank of England to give back. So use this as an analogy to understand that the gold may not be there. That's the other problem, because we don't know how much of gold got leased out. So these are real problems. People may have thought, okay, nobody's going to touch the gold because we have been using fiat currency for over 50 years. But the new push by the Trump administration to really get to find out how much gold it has in Fort Knox and the US Fed in New York has really, set the alarm bells ringing, set the cat among pigeons. You take any, proverb you want. Essentially, this is time where everybody is beginning to think that they need to have their currency pegged against gold. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.